Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning. Welcome to Iron Core Fitness. I'm Daniel, one of the instructors here. How can I help you today?
Hi, Daniel. I'm Sophia. I just joined yesterday, and honestly, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. There are so many activities listed on the board, and I'm not sure where to start.
That's completely normal for new members. Let's take it step by step. Can you tell me a little about your fitness goals?
Sure, I want to improve my stamina and lose some weight, but I also have a desk job, so my back feels stiff most of the time.
That helps a lot. In that case, you might want to combine cardio-based activities with flexibility training. Have you tried group classes before?
Not really. I usually work out alone, but I thought joining activities might keep me motivated.
You're absolutely right. Group activities can be very motivating. For stamina, our indoor cycling and beginner cardio circuits are good options. They're structured but not too intense.
I was curious about the cycling class, but I'm worried I won't be able to keep up with others.
Many beginners feel that way. The instructor always explains how to adjust resistance so you can work at your own pace. No one is competing.
That sounds reassuring. What about my back stiffness?
For that, I'd recommend yoga or guided stretching sessions. They focus on posture and mobility, which should help reduce discomfort from long hours of sitting.
Question 1. Why does Sophia feel unsure at the beginning? Question 2. Daniel's response to Sophia mainly shows that he is Question 3. What does Sophia hope activities will change?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
I noticed the yoga sessions are early in the morning. I'm not really a morning person. Are there any evening options?
Yes, there are. We have evening yoga twice a week and a Pilates class that also focuses on core strength and back support.
Pilates sounds interesting, but I've heard it can be tough.
It can be challenging, but the beginner class is designed for people who are new. The instructor gives modifications so you won't feel pressured.
That's good to know. How many activities would you suggest I join in the first week?
I'd recommend starting with 2 or 3 sessions. For example, one cardio class, one flexibility-based class, and maybe one light strength session.
I saw something called functional training. What exactly is that?
Functional training focuses on movements you use in daily life, like bending, lifting, and balancing. It's great for overall fitness and injury prevention.
That actually sounds useful. Would it be suitable for someone who hasn't exercised regularly in a while?
Absolutely, as long as you join the beginner level. The trainer keeps a close eye on form and intensity.
I'm also worried about timing. My work schedule changes sometimes.
In that case, you can book sessions through our app. If you miss one, you can easily reschedule without any penalty.
That's convenient. Do I need to bring any special equipment for these classes?
Not really. The gym provides mats and basic equipment. Just wear comfortable workout clothes and supportive shoes.
Question 4. Why does Daniel mention Pilates along with yoga? Question 5. What reassures Sophia that Pilates won't overwhelm her? Question 6. What is Daniel's main goal in suggesting 2 or 3 sessions initially?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
One last question. How soon should I expect to see results if I join these activities?
That depends on consistency. Most members start feeling more energetic within 2 weeks, even if physical changes take longer.
That's encouraging. I sometimes lose motivation if I don't see quick results.
That's understandable. Setting small, realistic goals can help. For example, focusing on attending classes regularly rather than immediate weight loss.
I like that approach. Is there any way to track my progress here?
Yes, we offer free fitness assessments every month. They help you see improvements in endurance, flexibility, and strength.
That sounds helpful. I didn't realize assessments were included.
Many new members miss that detail. You can book an assessment after your first 2 weeks.
Perfect. So, to summarize, you suggest cycling, yoga or Pilates, and maybe functional training?
Exactly. Start slow, listen to your body, and adjust as needed. You can always come back to me if something feels too difficult.
Thank you, Daniel. I feel much clearer now and less nervous about joining activities.
You're welcome, Sophia. We're glad to have you here. Enjoy exploring the classes and don't hesitate to ask for help anytime.
I will. Thanks again.
Question 7. Sophia's main concern at the beginning of the conversation is about Question 8. Sophia admits she struggles most with.
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey Hannah, have you got a minute? I was thinking about how we can make the living room feel a bit more cozy.
Yeah, of course. I was actually wondering the same thing. It feels kind of bare right now, doesn't it?
Totally. I was thinking maybe we could start with the walls. Right now they're just plain white. Maybe some artwork or posters could brighten it up.
I like that idea, but I don't want it to feel too cluttered. Maybe one big painting above the sofa and a few smaller frames on the other wall?
That sounds perfect. I've seen some really nice abstract art online. Or we could even make a little gallery wall with photos from our trips.
Oh, yes, that would add a personal touch. And what about the lighting? The overhead light is okay, but it's kind of harsh. Maybe a floor lamp or some fairy lights?
Fairy lights could be fun, and a floor lamp in the corner would definitely make it feel warmer, especially in the evenings when we're just chilling.
Agreed. Also, I was thinking about the cushions and throws on the sofa. They're pretty basic now. Adding some with patterns or colors could make a huge difference.
Good point. Maybe we could pick colors that match the artwork. I'm thinking warm tones like burnt orange or mustard yellow.
I love those colors. And maybe we can add a small rug in front of the sofa. It would tie the room together and make it feel more inviting.
Yes, definitely. And what do you think about adding a few plants? They could make the space feel more alive.
Absolutely. Maybe a couple of tall plants in the corners and some small ones on the shelves. They're also easy to take care of.
Perfect. We should probably make a list of everything we want and then check out a few stores this weekend. Maybe even look online for deals.
Sounds good. And I think we should agree on a budget first so we don't go overboard. I don't want to spend too much at once.
Totally agree. Maybe we can split the budget in half and each choose a few items we really like.
That works for me. I'm excited, actually. I feel like our living room will finally start to feel like home.
Me too. It'll be fun decorating together, and we can always switch things up later if we get bored.
Exactly. I think small changes over time are better than trying to do everything at once.
Okay then, let's make that list and plan a shopping trip. I can start looking for the floor lamp and some wall art tonight.
Perfect. I'll look for cushions, throws, and a rug, and we can compare ideas tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan. Can't wait to see the living room transformed.
Me too. It's going to be amazing.
Question 1. What is the main issue motivating their discussion? Question 2. Why does Hannah hesitate about adding wall decorations? Question 3. What does their lighting discussion suggest about their daily routine? Question 4. What is the real intention behind choosing warm shades for decor? Question 5. Why do they prefer gradual changes instead of one-time completion?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning, this is Emma Collins from the Riverside Farmers Market. Am I speaking with Mr. Nathan Reed?
Yes, this is Nathan speaking. Good morning, Emma.
Good morning. I'm calling to confirm a few details about your stall for this Saturday's market, particularly regarding setup time and the space you've been allocated.
Sure, I was actually helping to clarify those points myself. This will be my first time selling at your market, so I want to make sure I do everything correctly.
Of course, and welcome to the Riverside Farmers Market. We're happy to have you join us. According to our records, you'll be selling homemade jams and preserves, correct?
Yes, that's right. I'll be offering around 10 different varieties, including a few seasonal ones.
That sounds great. Now, regarding setup, vendors are allowed to start arriving from 6:30 a.m. The market opens to the public at 9 a.m., so we ask that all stalls are fully set up by 8:30 at the latest.
I see. I was wondering if it would be possible to arrive a little earlier than 6:30. I'll be bringing quite a bit of equipment.
I understand your concern, but we're unable to allow access before 6:30. The area is used for street cleaning early in the morning, and our staff arrives at that time. However, arriving right at 6:30 should give you enough time.
That's fine. I'll make sure to arrive as early as possible. Where should I park for unloading?
Vendors may park temporarily along Maple Street for unloading only. Once you've unloaded your items, you'll need to move your vehicle to the vendor parking area behind the community center.
All right, that's clear. And how much space has been assigned to my stall?
You've been allocated a standard stall measuring 3 meters wide and 2 meters deep. Your location is Section B, Stall 14, which is fairly central within the market.
That sounds like a good location. I was hoping to request a bit more space, as I'll have a display table and a small shelving unit.
At the moment, all larger stalls are fully booked. However, we do maintain a waiting list in case another vendor cancels. Would you like me to add your name?
Yes, please. That would be appreciated.
No problem. Also, please remember that tents must be securely weighted for safety reasons. Each tent leg needs a minimum of 20 kilograms.
Thanks for the reminder. I've already arranged suitable weights.
Excellent. Finally, if you require electricity, you need to inform us at least 48 hours in advance. I don't see a request from you.
No, I won't need electricity this time.
All right then. If you have any further questions before Saturday, feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Emma. I appreciate the information. I'm looking forward to participating.
You're very welcome, Nathan. We're glad to have you. See you on Saturday.
Question 1. Why does Emma refuse the request for earlier arrival? Question 2. What can be inferred about Nathan's preparation style? Question 3. Why does Emma mention the market opening time? Question 4. What does the phrase fairly central imply most strongly? Question 5. Why does Emma offer the waiting list option? Question 6. What does Nathan's acceptance of rules suggest?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
The United States and China have announced new trade restrictions amid ongoing disputes over technology and intellectual property. The U.S. Trade Representative confirmed that tariffs will be increased on a variety of Chinese goods, including electronics, textiles, and machinery, starting immediately. Officials said these measures are intended to protect American industries from unfair competition and alleged violations of trade agreements. This decision follows weeks of negotiations that failed to resolve disagreements over technology transfer policies. U.S. authorities claim that several Chinese companies have benefited from forced technology sharing and intellectual property violations, resulting in significant losses for American businesses. A statement from the U.S. trade representatives emphasized that the new tariffs are a necessary step to ensure fair trade practices and safeguard domestic employment. China responded swiftly by introducing countermeasures targeting American exports. These include higher tariffs on agricultural products such as soybeans, corn, and pork, as well as restrictions on certain chemical and manufacturing goods. A spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Commerce said that the country reserves its right to defend its legitimate interests and respond proportionately to any unilateral trade actions taken by other nations. Economists warn that these trade restrictions could disrupt global supply chains, particularly in the technology and agricultural sectors. Several multinational corporations dependent on U.S.-China trade have expressed concern about delays in shipments and higher production costs. Retailers may pass on these increased costs to consumers, potentially raising prices for everyday goods. Business associations in both countries have urged policymakers to return to dialogue. The American Chamber of Commerce in China called for cooperative solutions that balance trade fairness with global economic stability. Chinese business organizations also highlighted the challenges faced by small and medium-sized enterprises, warning that prolonged tariffs could hinder long-term growth. In addition to tariffs, the U.S. government has introduced stricter export controls on high-tech products, including semiconductors and telecommunications equipment. These measures are expected to limit Chinese companies' access to advanced technologies, affecting developments in sectors such as artificial intelligence and 5G networks. In response, Chinese officials emphasized the need to boost domestic innovation and reduce reliance on foreign technology. Financial markets in both countries reacted cautiously to the announcements. The Dow Jones Industrial Average in New York showed a slight decline, with technology shares fluctuating more sharply. In Shanghai, the Shanghai Composite Index experienced moderate losses, especially in sectors connected to U.S. trade. Analysts suggest that investors are closely watching upcoming trade talks and potential new measures that could influence market stability. Political leaders from both countries have stressed that, despite the restrictions, dialogue remains possible. Senior officials from the U.S. and China are reportedly planning meetings in the coming weeks to discuss possible solutions and explore cooperation in areas such as climate change, energy, and public health.
You will listen to a 2 minute video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Thanks for coming, both of you. I know it's short notice, but the city's new recycling policy kicks in next week, and we really need to figure out how to inform everyone.
I skimmed through the new guidelines. They're a bit confusing, aren't they? Especially the part about plastics.
You mean the soft plastics, right? Yeah, those have to go in a separate bin now. A lot of people are going to miss that detail. I almost did myself.
Right. Soft plastics like grocery bags and cling wrap have to be bagged separately, no more tossing them in with the regular recyclables. But I'm more concerned about food contamination. People still toss half-full yogurt containers into the bin.
That's true. Maybe we could make a flyer or something. Something simple, like top 5 mistakes to avoid.
Flyers are great, but will people read them? Maybe door-to-door is better. Just a quick chat with everyone, explain the key changes. That way they can ask questions.
That's more time-consuming, though. And not everyone's home in the evenings.
What about the building's Facebook group? We could post reminders there. I think most residents check it.
I wouldn't count on that. I know at least 6 people on our floor who don't use Facebook. Maybe a mix of all 3. Flyers door-to-door and online.
That sounds like overkill. But maybe we could assign different people to different floors. Linda could do floor 3 and 4, I could do 1 and 2, and Sarah could handle 5 and 6.
Sure, though I'll be out of town next weekend. Could we swap? Maybe I take 1 and 2 early in the week.
Works for me. Also, should we put up signs in the trash room? Like a visual guide.
That's a great idea. I can design something simple, like icons for what goes where.
Just make sure it's waterproof. Someone spilled coffee all over the last notice.
And let's not forget renters. They often get overlooked, and sometimes landlords don't even tell them about policy changes.
Good point. We'll need to figure out how to include them. Maybe we ask building management to send a general email.
Perfect. That way, everyone's at least notified, even if they don't read the flyers.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Rotating leadership roles in student groups is often promoted as a fair and educational approach, allowing every member to develop responsibility, confidence, and decision-making skills. However, the main challenge in this system lies in maintaining consistency and effectiveness while leadership keeps changing. When leadership rotates frequently, the group may struggle to achieve stable progress because each new leader brings a different style, level of experience, and set of priorities. One major difficulty is the uneven preparedness of students taking on the leadership role. Not all students possess the same communication skills, confidence, or organizational ability. Some may feel anxious or unmotivated when it is their turn to lead, resulting in unclear instructions, weak coordination, or poor time management. This can slow down the group's work and frustrate members who are eager to move forward efficiently. Instead of focusing on the task itself, the group may spend extra time adjusting to the new leader's approach. Another challenge is the lack of long-term vision. When leadership rotates, it becomes difficult to maintain a consistent plan or strategy. A project that requires sustained direction can suffer if each leader changes goals slightly or emphasizes different aspects of the task. This can lead to repeated discussions, revisiting decisions, or even conflicts about priorities. Group members may feel confused about expectations, especially if guidelines are not clearly passed on from one leader to the next. Rotating leadership can also affect group dynamics and accountability. Some students may take the role very seriously, while others may see it as a formality rather than a responsibility. When expectations are unclear, weaker leaders may rely heavily on more confident group members, creating imbalance. This can cause resentment, as certain students may feel they are doing more work despite not being the designated leader. Over time, this undermines the purpose of rotation, which is to share responsibility equally. In addition, frequent changes in leadership can reduce trust and authority. Group members may hesitate to fully commit to a leader's decisions if they know the role will soon change. This lack of authority can make it difficult for leaders to manage disagreements or ensure that tasks are completed on time. Without strong support from the group, leadership becomes symbolic rather than functional. The challenge is therefore not the idea of rotating leadership itself, but managing the transitions effectively. Without proper guidance, training, and clear structures, rotating leadership can create confusion, inefficiency, and uneven participation within student groups.
Visit celpipmocktest.com for authentic Celpip mock tests and see the difference in your performance.